Sorry, you're talking to Link right now? Because definitely I'm talking to Link. You wanna come at him, bro? Do it. Do it for Link. Anyways, hi. Welcome to the content that you're about to watch. I'm gonna get to some revenge today. So let's go to r/ProRevenge. Some of the best things you need on this pure wonderful internet. And I think I might break something there. Hope I don't break anything there. Okay, anyways. I think this is gonna be a long one, so ooh. Alright, here we go. My £8 50 pence revenge on my cheating, thieving ex. When I was at uni, I started dating this guy. At first he was wonderful, dedicated to his studies, fun to be around, attentive, and always surprising me with things, working hard at his job, etc. Then bit by bit, things unraveled. He started skipping classes, then he barely bothered to go at all. Worse still, he never helped around the house, never washed up, cleaned up, did laundry, nothing. He was even far from the shop for too many no-shows. All he wanted to do was sit at home and play Xbox or browse the message boards and forums. This was in the day before social media, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. This left me having to pick up extra shifts, some double and triple shifts, all the while going to class and studying. I later learned that this was a pattern. He rarely dedicated to whatever he set his heart on, but then get bored and fall back into old bad habits. Then he find a new passion and rinse and repeat. I knew I should have ended the relationship much sooner, but I held out hope that he would snap out of it. That maybe it was just an exam stress getting to him. I desperately wanted things to go back to how they were, but it was not meant to be. I caught him cheating, threw him out. Ooh, he cheating on you? That's a bit of a bummer. I was so stressed with everything that it wasn't until the next day the RF savings account crossed my mind. There was a little over £5,000 in there, and the bar few hundred from him. The rest was money I've saved. I checked the account and it was all gone. Max had cleaned up the account and moved into a new flat with his side chick. I called the bank. There was nothing they could do. It was authorized an account. I contacted the police. They told me there was nothing they could do since it was a joint account, so that the criminal had happened. They suggested talking to civil court, and so I'd probably spend more money than I got back in legal fees, so it likely wasn't worth it. Max had stolen £5,000, and there was nothing I could do about it. I felt such an idiot. I got even angrier when I saw his posts on various forums posting for his new game consoles, new games, new TVs, and gadgets, all bought with my money, being a cheater and being a thief. That's a problematic. I'm not usually a vengeful person. Petty on occasion, sure, but I never want to exact revenge as much as I did right then. And I knew just how to do it. Okay. While I was a student, I attended every summer to help pay for my studies. One such job had been for a debt collection agency. The work was crappy as you can imagine, but it paid real well, and it was only for a few months. My ex had been dodging debt for many years, and was very proud of that fact. He was also proud of the fact that his debt was close to being statute barred if he hadn't paid a penny. For those of you who don't know, in the UK, yeah, creditors have about 6 years to collect the debt, and then it becomes statute barred. That means the money is still owed, but creditors are moved with full enforcement, such as using bailiffs. My ex was a few months away from reaching statute bear status. However, what a lot of people don't know is that making a payment on that debt resets the clock. If you pay any amount, then that 6 years starts from scratch. Previously, I had used my inner knowledge to help him dodge the debt. Now, I will use it to hit him where it hurts. By the end of our relationship, I was handling everything, including the debts. I had paperwork, so I knew who he owed and how much. I called his creditors up. I was honest and said I was a friend contacting him on his behalf. I didn't pretend to be him because that would be a big legal no-no. They weren't allowed to disclose any details, but they were able to take payment. Pay the minimum, could have reached that. Well, a pound on those. but one had a minimum payment of £1.50. That was the best £8.50 I was spent. See that there? Because I know about British. That's really British stuff, you know. Okay. I also made sure to give him his new address and contact details, as well as his parents' address. After working in the biz, I knew they wouldn't change the address since I wasn't an account holder, but they would note it. There are various systems where they could search for his name against that address to see if anything came up. They got a hit, they changed the address. The trap was set. All I had to do is wait. Ooh, see how this thing works right now? See that one? Dodges that. Guess what? He'll be in the debt, for sure. A few months rolled by, it happened. He exposed on the floor and went from boasting about his new game PC to panic about a court date. Oh. He called me and begged for advice. I told him to F off. Seeing I wouldn't help, he asked for advice in forums, while his online friends told him not to turn up to court. That way, they wouldn't be able to prosecute without him there. It was terrible advice that was 100% untrue. In fact, not showing up is one of the worst things you can do, especially in civil court. It's getting better and better. This is nice. The court date came and went. My ex naturally didn't go. A week later, my ex posted photos of his empty flat. Bailiffs had cleaned him out and taken every last one of his shiny new gadgets and toys. Oh, they take away from him. Nice. On top of that, he ended up with several CCJs, county court judgments. These are a big deal and can seriously damage your credit history, making it hard to get bank accounts outside of basic needs. Near impossible to get credit for the mortgage, and can also make it hard to rent a place since many landlords don't like threatening people with CCJs as they're considered high risk. You also won't be able to find jobs in the financial sector. Now that he was broke, it didn't have nice things. His side chick left him. Oh, I never got my 5,000 back, but it felt good to see everything he bought with his ill-gotten gains taken away. Hope that £5,000 was worth it. If for anyone wondering how student accrued 6 years of debt, he studied at the university I attended when he was 25. He and then should have gone to a different university at 18, but dropped out at 19 and went into a world of work. Then he convinced his parents to fund a business degree. He wanted to become an entrepreneur. And for anyone about the age gap, I deferred my uni start date by a few years ago so I could travel. I was 22 when we started dating. He was 26. Ooh, we have a lot going on there. On that there. He had this fashionable life going on. After they broke up this joint account, they been trading this account. And then he had taken away with everything. He had all the money he needs, and then she left with nothing. So she has to find a way to do that. They'll have all the paperwork to see how much he owe and all this. And she called the creditors, right? And they were able to make payment whatever they need. Paid whatever the smallest payment they had, so that they'll have £8.50. So £8.50. So 850 in sterling, that's $10. It's about $10 to pay and they give every address that he had because he paid a lot of money. Paid those gadgets and because that's what he likes. Well, unfortunately he got trapped. You know where his address at? He loved this Nagon PC, but the court date that I was supposed to live in, that is definitely the biggest problem. He ended up with a lot of judgments, and they cannot afford anything. That's gonna affect his credit history, affect all the cards, and now he ended up broke, and Sagic left him, and well, sadly, she didn't get the £5,000 back, but I think this revenge is way better than that. You have a better laugh on it. I know this is really takes a lot of chunk of this video, but I will see if there's any more. Oh, this is good. The abusive employees say bye-bye to your job. Okay, not that really long, but we'll see. My former boss was simply An absolute ace in a hole. He was the type of person that had the ability to be so condescending while acting he was doing you a favor. His condescending attitude was sometimes downright abusive, and he seemed to have a particular problem with all the female boys. He acted as if they were dumb and needed censoring every step. He would scream at people regardless of how little their mistake was, if there even was one. He was a slave driver and expected everyone to sacrifice their own personal lives for their job. The thing that sparked this revenge was telling me to miss my oldest sister's birthday to come to work on a date I already booked off. No one liked it. I don't like the boss who is no. Hear me, because if I see the boss who's treat their employees like they're disrespectful, that is the one I do not want. That's the boss I do not want to deal with. If they're gonna come to off and just fire me, fine. I will expose your nonsense. Me and all my colleagues in the department could stand being here anymore. So we did the protocol. All of us piled together the evidence we had of him not sticking to book off policy, just having inappropriate and sometimes abusive language, and we brought it all in one Google Doc. Hmm. Document can definitely give me fire. That was step one. Okay. Step two was getting a cherry on top. We did this by getting him to do one of his screaming tantrums at one of us. We wanted this to be as damning as possible, and the youngest and smallest girl of all of us volunteered to be the bait. She made an intentional beginner's mistake in her paperwork. This something bound to get roared at, and the idiot took the bait. You see, he likes to do his scoldings in front of all of us to point forward rule by fear, as we call it. This gives the perfect option to film it from behind our desk and add it to the Google Doc. None of evidence there. Now you see, in our company, there's this really not well made email system. You can send an email to an entire department, and I mean the entire, as long as you can have its name and manager's name. But the thing about this was the fact that all this information is completely and fairly given to an employee. This means that a person could send whatever email they to the entire company, including the CEO. We could send this literally the Google Doc and bring them out so that anybody can just access to that. That's to access the email, including CEO. Oh, this is getting better. This gets better and better when I read this. Okay, so one morning at 10 a.m., to ensure that as many people will be working as possible, we made a burn email and sent the Google Doc through email to everyone in the company. It took a little while as there were many departments to get through, but we got there in the end. Again, the email, the subject, boss name, out information, branch name, department name. Of course, our boss received the email as well, and you could basically hear a clutter from his office as people all over the company were contacting him to ask him what the hell this was about. Oh, this is getting oh, this is worse. So HR did a light investigation and took heavy disciplinary action. And as far as I know, he wasn't directly fired, but said he resigned. And a month after that, we never saw him again, and he was replaced by a new guy who was also an ace in law, but just less of one. The expression during the whole ordeal had me sleep at night. I mean, that's really one way to do that. And just scold him, but yeah, that's not do. And now we give everybody information all about him. They didn't fire him. He didn't get fired. He was resigned because of all of this. It just spreads all over again. But they ended up this new guy, but still less of it, less of an ace in the hole than the former boss. I hate bosses, but not the boss that I worked at. Seems to be he kind of asks questions and he knows about some stuff. No, okay. Just flipping through a few stories and reading about the tower drivers just getting dessert. And they're just desserts and many things. Okay. We got a call to the house where there was a bariatric parent patient who had fallen. The patient was morbidly obese and weighed about 30 stone. That's 420 pounds. That was so much fun. This story isn't really about them. There are many reasons to get people get decided and judged on them. Problem here was a really arrogant neighbor who had come across before, and Bo was this chap and judgmental moral. Our patient had a car and had disabled parking. They also had council designated disabled parking spot outside their home, which the neighbor kept parking in. There have been a number of letters from the council regarding this. The number parking fine just served to annoy this chap even more. On the day of the story, I took the call that the patient had fought and we went into the house. Sure enough, the Vivid was not only parked in the disabled spot, but had parked a second car blocking access to the patient's driveway. I assessed the patient and suspect they had a broken hip, so I need to go in. I sent my colleague round to the neighbor and asked him to move the cars. And when they came back, I was told the neighbor that I just told my colleague to do one. No problem. Time to get the message home. I radioed to our control center and asked for the fire service and police. We need the fire service to help lift the guy and the police to do a parking patrol. Fire service were the first to arrive. I spoke to the crew commander to let them know what the situation was. The fireman went to the house to ask the neighbor to move the car, was told the same as my colleague. The message was relayed back and the watch commander just asked me one question. Is the patient's life at risk? I know exactly the words were, and it was time our thoughtless neighbor got the message. The answer was yes. There is equipment I need to get into the house, and the driveway is blocked, preventing me doing so. The watch commander told the fire truck driver to move those vehicles. It was really satisfying to see both vehicles being pushed down the road by the fire service, and look on the neighbor's face as he came out spitting and screaming was well worth seeing. His complaints to the police fell on deaf ears. They were well aware of his history of obstruction, and my clinical assessment that the patient's life was in danger is more than enough justification for the vehicles removed. I doubt made our patient's life any easier, and sadly, they died a few months later without leaving hospital. But it really did bring a smile to the face as we wheeled them out. I mean, parking with you're just parking with oh my goodness. There's like disabled parking spot and there is like a spot that's like in life risk, like a high risk. It's it's like a very life at risk patient there. Wanted to get to the hospital and get them clean, but this entitled neighbor just wanted to park them because they don't care. That is not cool because they want to be just entitled as everybody else. So they called the fire department, they called the police. The fire department told about neighbor to move the car. And then they told us that it's like risk. Yeah. So they just moved those vehicles, well, moved the entire neighbor's vehicle so that they'll just get them out of the way. But I'm glad that the revenge is worth it, though. Make them happy. But the patient they tried to save died, but I do like the revenge here. I will give you one more for this, but there's another one that I'm very interested in. Okay, it's called Don't Mess with an Engineer. I work for a company that provides specialized equipment used in manufacturing. To protect my nominee, I'll have to be a certificate. During my time working in this field, I've got to know my main clients who would need these machines installed in service. One of the customers we'll call Jake. I later left the company for a different job, but Jake really kept my number. One afternoon, I got a call from Jake that they wanted a new unit installed and another unit needed maintenance. He wanted to know if I was available. I didn't know that I left the company, but that I could pass him on to someone who could help. He tells me he paid 2 times my current rate to install the unit over the weekend. He lets me know that the company has increased the rates for installation and the company can't just afford it. The instructions they sent over just aren't clear enough, and their engineers are scratching their heads trying to figure it out. He begs me to consider it, and I agree. And for more context, some decisions can take a good few hours or up to a day on your own. The company gives you two options. You can either pay for an engineer to come and install it, or you can save money and they will send instructions so that the customer's own engineers can install it. These instructions aren't easy to follow, and it's company policy that if someone had started to install the equipment, the spy wouldn't get involved since they couldn't verify that any pieces were broken. This will be important later. That's a policy to here. I drive down on the weekend and they show me the boxes of equipment. I set to work and I made good progress installing it. Around 6 hours and I'm stopped by Jake who greets me. I let him know I never finished and he tells me, sorry, but they just don't have the budget to pay you. They understand my frustration, but his engineers can't take it from here. To say I was frustrated and was, maybe I was in understanding. I wanted revenge. There's a small button inside the unit that changes the unit into the test. This is done to perform maintain on the unit, but it's possible to configure the unit with this button press. Ooh. It's only impossible to reach this button using a pin, so it's not nearly pressed during installation. Because of this, the installation instructions don't mention. There's no real way of telling the equipment is in test mode. It's just won't number. I think you guess where this is going. Ooh, I click the button, collect my things, and leave. Monday morning, I get a call from Jake. I decline. I knew my own company wouldn't get involved since I already started installing the unit. And those engineers would never figure it out. I just had to let them stew. A few days later, with many missed calls, I finally picked up. Jake is furious. He asks me where the hell I've been and why I haven't been picking up the phone. He tells me they can't figure out how to configure the machine and they needed my help. I tell him, why is this my problem? You won't pay me. He told me he was sorry and they would work something out if I could get there as soon as possible. I told him, oh no, you're going to pay me £7,000 upfront before I do anything. I never felt this powerful before. You do that, man. You do that. He screamed for a bit and hung up. He called back a day later and saying he's sorry for how he acted. He said that if I could come fix it, he would pay me. And it told defeated him. He tried to fight, saying he'll pay me when I was done, but I was having none of it. After a big back and forth, he agreed to pay me. The money hit my account and I came in the next day. The look of confusion over his face when I took out a pen and changed the unit from test mode was priceless. It was even more priceless when seeing his reaction to me packing up my tools and leaving after only 20 minutes of configuring. Easiest £7,000 I don't try to mess with a professional problem solver. I mean, he's an engine. I mean, come on, he's an engineer. He's trying his hard and this on this big unit or whatever this unit they're trying. Make sure you have an engineer come in and just install it for you, or have someone send you the instructions so that they can install it and have prices. They all have some prices because this the instructions are easy to follow. It's kind of possible. If someone decides to install the equipment, Smart wouldn't get involved since they couldn't verify what pieces are broken and what not. And if someone told him that they don't have this low budget to tell you, Jake said that to us, so he wanted his revenge. And there's this button that definitely changed that unit into like a test mode, just testing some stuff. Yeah, it's only because we reach this button using a pin, so it's not easily pressed during the installation. During installation, they're using this one little pin. That's really. There's no way of telling that it's in test mode. It just won't work. So this would be a very nice plan here. Okay, I'm just gonna put this unit in here in the test mode. I'm just gonna put the pin there just to mess them up. Hopefully, you don't tell the difference if it's in test or not. Just click that button, boom, and I leave. And then Jake was very, very mad. Mad at why they couldn't figure out this no machine, why it isn't work. You know why? Because you didn't pay me £7,000. You didn't pay me money. Because because I installed it doesn't mean you won't tell us that I'll get paid. Guess what? That happened. Well, you had no choice but to give but Jake gave no choice for Jake to give this OP the money. It was very first seeing the reaction of and took out the little pin and changed the unit from the test mode. That this one little pin that definitely screws him up. Oh, that's so weird. Oh, that's so exciting. Very, very exciting thing to see it like this. Yeah, that's what happens. Don't mess with the engineer. They can do whatever they want to do. All right, this is no drinks, no tip. Okay, so I'm working at a huge party slash concert slash miscellaneous event locations, and I'm the guy responsible for refilling the bars with drinks every time the bartender mails an order, and I was picking up the used glass and pints to bring them to the washing station we have. In general, I'm the guy who helps the bars running there. Sometimes there are two or three of us in the ship, but other times not. They can be nice that there are 5 bars open, and the place is full with 3,000 people. Just to give you a taste of what the job looks like when the place is back on a typical Friday, Saturday night. Imagine you have to carry and deliver around 20 beer kegs with each weight over 65 kilograms, that's 130 pounds, and around 60 cases of beer and soft drink just when you start your shift. Yeah, that's a lot. When something goes out of the bartender makes a new order that I have to deliver. And this goes on all night long, from 5 p.m. till 6 in the morning. And sometimes if there are any GOA parties till 11 in the morning. Also, just to give another taste of this big place is, during a normal shift according to phone, I'm walking 17 miles, not 17 miles, that's a long. Where I come from, we'll call this job runner. Runner. The unreal law there is like this: that each bartender has 20% of the tip they need each night to the runner. Because without a runner, he would have no drinks to serve. Nobody can really know who's really giving 20% for their tip, but that's another story. But every bartender is giving something, and usually is a lot, and all sides are happy. There comes another guy, and the manager explains to him the unwritten rule, saying exactly these words. You don't want these words for that. You don't want to have problems with any of the runners. So be fair. When you're doing this job for a while, no, boss, it's if you'll get this is going to be good or not. No, approximate if the tip you'll get is going to be good or not. No, whatever you get. Alright, here's some fast forward. Very, very fast forward. Huge metal fests with all the bars open. There are even stages and outdoor bars. Plus show party after show parties. The place is packed like there's no tomorrow. This festival is happening every year and it's one of the best trips. Even though a lot of work and around 17 hours of work is a lot, but walking home with $1,000 tip is worth it. Yep. Well, wow, but 17 hours of work, I was working a day, but getting $1,000 tip, it is way worth it. So the new guy has a spot at a very facility bar, was providing and delivering drinks there like crazy. After a long shift with everything done and then some, we do the calculations and it brings money to the treasury. He looks at me, says cold blood, thank you. Good night. Tonight was a good night to work. I walks away without giving me my tip. That was it, folks. I kept doing the job every time he had a shift at one of the bars, like nothing happened. And I was just waiting for full pack night to come. And finally, after a week, it was the time. Again, the place is fully packed. His first order arrives on my tablet. Sadly, I was busy to deliver. One hour passes, he tries to call me on my phone. I pick standing next to a subwoofer. 1.5 hours go by, and the second order arrives from him. Didn't even deliver the first one. Sadly, I was again busy. Too busy. Then after half hour, the ship manager calls me on the radio. And the ship manager is also doing this job before getting a better position there. Hey, what the heck is going on? Why has no drink to sell? I'm busy with the rest of the bars. The guests can go to the other bars. Are you serious? That guy can only sell water and everything else is empty. Now I reply, he can sell water, but no one tips a bartender for water, right? Small pause on the read. You can't be freaking serious. He's leaving no tip for you guys. Yep, you guessed right. I'm sending this idiot home positive. I was like, this guy had a very good selling bar, but didn't give somebody a tip like that. It was very annoying. So he had something else. Love to have this new guy explain this unwritten rule. There is an unwritten rule. Let me look at that. There's like each partner has to give 20% of the tip to the runner. Okay. Then that is the place. I'm walking where I come from, we call this a runner. Runner, okay. You have to have 20% of the tip they make each night to the runner. If there's no runner, no drinks to serve. And this guy comes in explaining this the unwritten rule and doesn't have any problems with the runners. We'll see about that. This big fast happening. That varies good about buying drinks. And if the calculation brings the money to the treasury. Mm-hmm. And he walks away without giving me the tip. That's a red flag. He walks away with the money but with no tip though. Red flag. That's a red flag. That was very awful. So he did what he had to do. He'll be very, very busy during that time. That's just for a full packed. Guess what? It's fully packed. And the first orders arrived and he was very, very busy to deliver because he has a revenge something to fight. He will keep doing busy with carrying with a lot of packed stuff and sending it to the bar. He'll be busy doing this little job that trying to do. Tries to call me, but next to subwoofer because keep right. And now going by here, right? So arrived, very busy again. Did not deliver the first one, and did not deliver with everything. Gosh, only picks up with the bar, but not not really good bar. That's very problem. And he didn't sell drink. He likes to have selling water. When you have a bartender, you need to have like drinks up for selling with something. But no drinks, they can't tip you without drinks. And they can't even tip for a water and then give the tip to them. And that's, yeah, he had fired. Let me, that this should be a written rule. Okay, local hospital employers beside the tip on the share here. And then, oh, this is someone has the story. This is, I'll read some of the comments here just for the sake. Tips aren't even thing here. That's right. People do jobs that are duly compensated. Whatever's in our country, but we're tipping. There's this whole etiquette. Do tip, they go out of the way to give great service. Not the idea of helping someone make enough for like 20%, but about 10% if they go above and beyond to make experience great. Gotta reward people trying to excel. Yeah, okay. 10% is easy enough. For 20%, all you have to do is double it. If you want to do 50%, take 10% plus half that amount. So, okay, if you have 26.42 is the bill, 10% will be $2. Then it will be about $3, 20% $5. And if they didn't pay the stuff enough, tip is the big thing to do. Tip is like every server, every waiter's dream to earn so that you can earn your sort money, not just the restaurant paid you, but you can have a tip with every customer that you have encountered or something. That is this applies not just the restaurant, it also applies to a bar, the entire bar. When they give you a tab, right? Here is the tab I'll give you of how much all the stuff that the drinks you have. But make sure you give me the tip so that it'll be way better for me to leave something with whatever the tip they'll give us. But yeah, you have to tip. That's the thing. Because if they don't tip drink, if it's very specific, didn't give you a drink, that person cannot come to that bar or any restaurant. Yeah, that sucks. 20% is like the big thing. His usual tip, 15 to 20% is a very big tip. That's how it is. We gotta leave something to tip. That's how we have to do. Okay, I think that's enough for me. It took me a lot of energy to do a lot of pro revenge. I only do few things. This it's more post stuff. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. See you next time.